I need money. I need cash fast. Give me the bag. Give me the bag.
This spring in particular started out with a bang. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the new season of Beauty and Black, or not even a season, it was 8 new episodes released on Beauty and Black. Now, if you're not familiar, you can go to Beauty and Black on Netflix and you can watch for yourself. Now, Beauty and Black, what it is an enterprise that was basically started on hair products, right? So in the first season, it unfolds to where I guess they was giving away scholarships to the Beauty and Black Academy, and they was also it was also a lawsuit because of the hair care product. But this is what I thought the series was about. But it's much deeper when you go in behind the scenes of this movie. And I don't mean behind the scenes as behind the camera. I'm talking about the movie itself. When you start to see the characters and how they play out. From the top character, who is Horace, all the way down to the lowest character. And to be honest with you, she turned out to be one of the top characters, which was Kimmy. Kimmy was basically she was being prostituted out at this this bar or club or whatever. And she was like the lower of the characters, but really she's one of the stars of the movie. But she was one of the lower characters because of the prostitution and all that. And she meets Horace, he's the top of the pile. He's very rich. You know, she meets Horace, but she has a friend named Angel and also another friend named Rain. And so basically, through meeting Horace really likes her and Angel. So he decides to get them out of their situation, which their situation was one of trafficking. You know, Kimmy and Angel and Rain, they were all being trafficked, by a guy named Jules, which you'll find out is another evil character, but he's connected to the Bellary family, which Horace was the head of the Bellary family. And he has a brother named Norman. And he has an ex-wife named Olivia. And he has 2 kids. One by the name of Roy, the other by the name of Charles. This series had tons of twists and turns. Believe me when I tell you, it had tons of twists and turns. But they added 8 more episodes to season 2. And I can't give away the end. I'm not going to give away the end because it's an unexpected twist in the end. And if you haven't seen this series yet, trust me, you'll want to go to Netflix and you'll want to look up Beauty, BEAUTYNIN, Black, BLACK. This is a Tyler Perry series that's on Netflix. And it's an excellent series. Trust me. I'm going to tell you how excellent it is. I came home on Friday night. I get off of work at 10 p.m. So I come home on Friday night to the new 8 episodes. I didn't go to bed until 5 in the morning. I basically binge watched all 8 episodes. I had a little moments like that. Little, you know what I'm saying? I had a little bit of that. But all in all, I watched that whole thing. And I'm going to tell you, street banger. So if you haven't watched, you need to watch. Just to go a little stretch further, Kimmy, who I told you was being trafficked, along with Angel and Ring, who are some of the, they become some of the predominant characters as this story goes on. But Kimmy ends up marrying Horace, who I told you was the really rich guy, the head of the Bellaries. And they have a company called Beauty and Black. That's hence the name of the series, Beauty and Black. All these characters, all of his sons, Jules, the ex-wife, his brother, and even Roy's wife, Mallory. They all backbite and backstab each other the whole series. It's crazy. They don't like each other. And then Charles, the youngest son, he's, you know, he's gay. Likes men. And he gets involved with the company lawyer. Which no one, you could never guess at first that this guy liked men because he's a big, burly guy. And Charles is a little guy. And I mean, you could kind of like, and he has this I don't care attitude. Charles has this attitude where he really doesn't care. He goes out, he parties, he has a good time. He really, you know what I mean? A not caring attitude. But that changes in these last 8 episodes. Roy is probably the one that has the least amount of sense of all the characters. Like, he's, when I say brainless, he doesn't think about anything. But his brainless activity catches up with him in these last 8 episodes. So I would suggest, if you haven't seen it, watch it from episode 1, season 1, and work your way all the way up. And trust me, it is binge watch worthy. Trust me. You'll watch it. It's something that you want to see what happens next. It's one of those. And when the seasons ended, if you was watching it, it was one of those things where you was like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in Beauty and Black the next season or whatever. It's that good. And so, like I said, Kimmy marries Horace. And Horace does this to spite the family. But he really does it to spite the family. As she said, he was dying from something. But what ends up happening is he goes to Italy to get this treatment that supposedly is going to help him. But anyway, he marries Kimmy to spite the family. But Kimmy is way smarter than the Bellaries think. She's like steps ahead of him because Horace is giving her a crash course on business. And Horace is an absolute mastermind. But he's giving her a crash course. And he gives her basically a rundown of the family. And she puts on an absolute great show. Because one thing I could say about her, she could have got swallowed by this whole experience. But She overcame all odds, and she understood what her assignment was. And by no means did she disappoint Horace. She absolutely played it just the way Horace wanted her to play it. But it was detrimental in the end to the family. Trust and believe when I tell you this. Kimmy is an outstanding actress in this series. Mallory is another one. Because Mallory, she understands the assignment.
Mallory is married to Roy.
I said Mallory was married to Roy. But I'm going into some other things now. But Mallory understands the assignment of survival because she understands that if her and Roy breaks down, she loses her shares. So her whole thing is trying to, I guess, survive and keep Roy through all these stupid things that Roy does. But all of his things come to a boiling point for Mallory in this 8th season. Or, I'm sorry, not 8 seasons. In this 8 episodes, it comes to a boiling point for her. She's at the point where she's ready to off Roy. But in order to understand what I'm talking about, you got to watch for yourself. Now, Norman, prior to this, had this belief that someone killed his wife and that they got punished for it. But the real thing is, Roy was covering up the fact that Mallory did it. And now Roy betrays Mallory and tells Norman that Mallory ran over Norman's wife. Just like a speed bump. Ran her right over. And so now Norman is asking Mallory. Norman is probably the craziest one in this. Well, they all crazy. I ain't even gonna lie. But Norman is a serious killer. Like, crazy. So he asked Mallory, and Mallory plays it off like, Roy's a drug addict. You can't believe him. He's always telling crazy stories. So then Norman goes out of there indifferent because now he's looking at Mallory different. And he goes to Olivia, which is in the hospital, and says, Olivia, Roy said that, so he basically repeated the same thing to Olivia, which is Roy's mother. And Olivia said, well, you believe Roy? And everybody's tossing it off like Roy's this non-credible source. But in all actuality, Roy is telling the truth. But anyway, so Norman is backtracking and trying to figure out if Mallory actually, because Norman's got this thought in his mind like, I'm gonna kill her if she killed my wife. I'm extremely hurt. But in order to figure out how all this turns out, you'll have to watch the 8 episodes if you haven't watched them yet. And if you haven't watched the series, you need to watch the series. But anyway, Charles gets wrapped up because some guys tried to rob him in the first half of season 2. They didn't get away with it, needless to say. And it comes on with him hacking the bodies up. Right? He's hacking these bodies up. So, some other guys come in, just as the lawyer is coming in, because the lawyer is coming to talk to Charles or whatever. But they end up getting robbed. You know, some other people come in to rob him again. But this time it was a more successful robbery. He gets robbed. The lawyer is now afraid. He's like, you need to get out of this because next time you could be dead and da-da-da-da, so on and so forth. Charles don't want to hear that, but Charles is kind of shook. For whatever reason. Charles normally doesn't get shook, but this particular time he's shook. And, excuse me, he calls up his mom. Mom, I need help. Mom, I need help. Mom, I need help. He's on the phone and she's like, well, what is it, Charles? He's like, Mom, I just need you to come over here. I need some help. You said what?
Your mom is ruthless.
We gonna get to that. Can I go through this? I mean, I wish you would sit beside me and do this with me, but that's not something you desire to do. But Charles is trying to get the mom's help. But he don't really want to talk over the phone to disclose too much information over the phone. So he finally gets her to agree to come over. So when he gets her to come over, she's trying to get him, well, tell me what's going on. So he was like, I think you want to have a drink. She's like, I don't need a drink. He's like, no, I think you need a drink. So he gets her to drink and he tells her to go in the bathroom. I really messed up this time, Mom, so on and so forth. So she goes in the bathroom. She see the hacked up bodies. Mom is a G. Mom is crazy, though. So she goes back in there. She's like, first time, huh? She's like, Mom, I need your help and all of this type of stuff. And da-da-da. She's like, don't worry about it. I got you. So I guess Charles leaves. She brings in her cleaning squad. So the cleaning squad cleans up the body. And at the same time, Mom starts talking to the cleaners. So in talking to the cleaners, she's talking about how these people messed up with the, with the bodies or whatever. They messed up and they messed up the Horus robbery and they botched this one. And how much money was in the safe? Oh, 40,000. 40,000? That's all? You sure that's all he had? Yeah, that's all he had was 40,000. Oh my gosh. Blah, blah, blah. You guys are useless and so on. But they took watches and everything. So it was way more than 40,000 with the watches, believe me. So, meanwhile, all of this is being recorded. Charles had a secret camera in which all of this was being recorded. But the mom didn't know. And it comes back to bite later because Charles at some point decides to look at the camera to see what's been going on. And he finds out that his mother betrayed him. The mother is the one that set the robberies up. She's trying to get money because she's gambling, which that catches up with her. And the people that she owed this money to, they come to collect the debt. And when they come to collect the debt, she don't have the money. So the people that come to collect the debt, I guess it was a female that was leading those people that was coming to collect. And she had a case with a sledgehammer in it. So what she did was, she said, yeah, I'm going to give you the Friday, but you got to give me something. So one thing leads to another, and she cracks Mom's leg. That, you know what I mean? That left leg gets cracked. Bap! With the sledgehammer. So Mom got to go to the hospital, so she calls Charles. Charles, da-da-da-da. You got to take me to the hospital. Oh, my gosh, I'm messed up. So Charles finally comes over to take her to the hospital. And meantime, and in between time, while mom's in the hospital laid up, he's reading these text messages based off of what's going on with mom. So now he knows that mom owes this debt. But mom is trying to carry it like, you don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I seen the messages and I talked to the woman on the phone. Stop playing with me, mom. So, mom come clean. She owed us money, da-da-da-da, so on and so forth. Because she was trying to get $250,000 out of, her son. But he didn't have the money. Charles didn't have that money. So that's why she tried to get him.
She said.
No, she was trying to get that money to pay these people off. But anyway.
But she told him it was for the cleaning crew. That he had to pay the cleaning crew.
I didn't already been through all this. Yeah, if you was paying attention, I already went through the cleaning crew and all that. You want to be all in the sideline. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't like them. But then you all side commenting while I'm doing my thing. Can I just do my thing?
What thing?
What I'm doing. Anyway, so the whole thing breaks down and mom needs this money. But it seems that everybody knows that she owes this debt. Norman, Horace, and then Charles, he's going around trying to tell Roy, but Roy don't really care. Roy don't care. You know what I mean? All Roy care about is getting some from chicks and snorting cocaine. That's all Roy care about. Anyway, Angel goes out.
This nigga is tired.
Snoring. Yeah, he had a good day. He was out all day today. We was outside. He was out there all day barking, running after everything. Yeah, he done. It's chaos. He's done. But anyway, so Angel goes out because Horace, before he left, he gave all of them cards. Except Rain. But he gave Angel and Kimmy cards with no limit. And he went out, took one of Horace's favorite cars to this ratchet club, making it rain, buying bottle after bottle, spending all this money. Not only was he spending the money, he had the nerve to post it on social media. Not only did Horace see it, but his baby mom found out because the baby mom's girlfriend worked at the club and she alerted the baby mom. Hence, here comes the wrap up. Here's where the things intertwine. The baby mom goes to the club. And I'm gonna give you a little back on the baby mom. But she comes to the club and she's like, you can't even help me out. I need rent money and all this. And he was like, what? This and that. So she trying to go on him. Security gets her up out of there. But in the midst of security getting her up out of there, right after they get her up out of there, somebody's shooting up the club. Pat, 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 pat. They tearing it up. Gunshots everywhere. So, this gunman gets to Angel and tells him to answer his phone. When he answered the phone, guess who's on the other end of the phone? None other than Horace. So Horace tells him, you better get home in 30 minutes. And on top of that, Horace cut his card. Like, you spent $39,000, you ignorant son of a... Anyway, he said you got 30 minutes to get home. Boys start... To anybody that's familiar, that's the $1 Million Man, Steve Austin. We can rebuild him. The world's first $1 million man. If you're not old school like me, you won't even, that don't even have no type of, you know what I mean, effect on you. But you can go back in the archives and look up the $1 Million Man and you'll understand that reference. Anyway, he gets outside to the car. The car is tore up. 4 flats. BI all over the joint. Messed up really bad. So, he calls up Rain and Alex the cop to come pick him up because she left him. She was like, I'm not going to stay here. And she was trying to tell him, stop acting nutty, but he was acting nutty. And that's why the club got shot up and all that. But anyway, they end up going back to get him. Riding back. On the way back to the crib, they stop because Roy and Mallory's house is on fire. So they get out. Well, you know, Alex the cop was like, oh, that's Roy and Mallory's house. I gotta get out. So they get out. Rain gets out. And then he realized, like, I gotta be home in 30 minutes. So he jumps in the boy Alex's car and finish the trip. He had to get there. And then when he gets there, the phone ring is Horace. But anyway, I was telling you that stupidity caught up with Roy. Well, I'm going to tell you what's real stupid about what Roy did. Just in case you don't know. If for no other reason you watch this 8 episodes of these last 8 episodes of season 2, this would be a good reason. Because Roy meets this girl, Felicia. And not only does he meet this girl is conversating with his wife prior to all of this. She's giving the wife, Roy's wife, information. But at the same time, she's having an affair with Roy, which the wife is unaware. But then at some point, the wife and her, they sit down because the Felicia is giving her information and some names. And she recognizes the names and said, well, if I show you a picture, would you know? And so she showed her the picture, and then she showed the one picture of her husband, which is Roy. And then the girl says, oh yeah, that's him. And then the wife says, oh yeah, that's my husband. Did you have sex with him? She said, oh yeah, I had sex with him. That's the one I was telling you about. The veins on the, you know what I'm saying? And the girt, you know what I'm saying? And a hook, all that. Yeah, so they had a little talk about that already. But now she knows that this woman is having sex with her husband. And that's significant. And here's why. Because Roy is to meet this woman at the club. And the wife found out that Roy was meeting this woman at the club. Now, behind the club, they got a parking lot where people go, and they go specifically to meet specific type of women that they're trafficking out of this club to have sex or whatever. Or men, it could be men, women, whatever. But all these people are being trafficked out of this club. Anyway, the girl, she goes out there looking for somebody else, but she sees Roy messing around with some other chicks. She get them out of there. So she's like, this is my, And so they start doing what they doing. In the midst of them doing what they doing, Roy and Felicia, the wife comes out. The wife gets out back there. Oh, she goes running. And she grips her, throws Roy out the way, grips her, put her on the ground, start going on her, whatever. Security comes, break it up, boom, 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 so on and so forth. She trying to get at her, but eventually they get her out of there. But Roy takes the side of Felicia and not his wife. Very stupid move. Anyway, she leaves. She gets a ride from the lawyer because that's who she was there with. She was there with the, with the family lawyer, company lawyer, all that. So they're riding, and she goes to the house. In the meantime, in between time, Roy is still at the club doing his thing with the girl. So he tells the girl, come on, go with me. He puts her in the trunk at first, put a little pat on that backside, and she's like, I can't even sit up in the front. He is like, all right, come on. So he lets her sit up the front. Takes her to the crib.
His house.
Roy takes her to the crib. Roy takes her to the crib where him and his wife lives. Which I just told you, the wife went to the crib. Brings her in. Takes her in his wife's closet. And telling her to try on clothes. And she says, no, I want to earn that. So then after there, takes her to the bedroom. The very bedroom. The very bedroom. The very bedroom where Roy and Mallory, who's married, sleep. But in the midst of them walking there, Mallory is sitting on the steps. She's looking at them as they walk right past her. But they don't see her for whatever reason. They don't see her standing there. So they go into the bedroom, turn on some music and lock the door. Mallory, oh Mallory. Mallory goes in the garage. She's looking through drawers and stuff. She grabs a chain. She goes running, or no, she was walking really fast. Mad. Seething mad. She takes the chain, and I'm talking a long chain. She takes the chain and wraps it around the bedroom door. The bedroom door has double doors. So she wrapped it around the handles of the door and put a lock on it. Then she proceeds to the garage. She goes and she gets her car. Oh, y'all not going to be doing this. She speeds out of the garage, around the house, about to the point where the room is, where the bed sits, the same wall. She takes something and she holds up the gas pedal on the car. She puts that joint in drive and lets it go. It goes right through the bedroom. This is the Hollywood part. Goes right through the bedroom wall. Roy and her is on the bed. It basically hits the wall where the bed is. Hits the bed. I'm talking a car. This is a Range Rover. Goes through, go through the wall, hits the bed. The girl is on top of Roy. And Roy is, anyway, hits it, goes through, ignites, catches on fire. Mallory, gangster at this point, she mad, seething. As I said before, she goes back in the house, you know, all type of expletives, talking this and talking that, and goes and light up a cigarette in the midst of all this fire and smoke, and sit there, and she's like, oh, you ain't gonna disrespect me. Anyway, so cutscene. That's when they saw the fire that I was telling you they was going to the crib. You know, Rain, Alex, Officer Alex, Rain, and Angel was going to the crib, and that's why he took the car, boom. But anyway, this is why I say it's the Hollywood part of it. Because that house, that part of the house was engulfed in flames. The girl was still screaming. And you got to figure, if it's all that smoke, wouldn't she pass out from smoke inhalation? I would think, but she didn't. And Roy, her and Roy is alive with no injuries.
Because the bed flipped over.
You keep talking about some bed, but that was a truck. That truck weighs tons.
The truck pushed the bed and the mattress flipped over on top of them.
She tripping. I keep telling her, ain't no, if you put a mattress, she tripping. You put a mattress in front of a car that's moving, like, that car had to have been going about 30, let's just say 30, 35 miles an hour. You think that mattress is going to stop people from getting injured? Come on now. Stop playing. Come on, a mattress. No, I'm not trying to hear that. You that joint went through a wall.
And it showed how the backboard pushed the bed.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying. It went through a wall. The car. So how is a mattress and a backboard going to stop it if it went through a wall?
It didn't stop it. It pushed it out. Pushed it.
You're saying the mattress is what stopped them from getting injured. How?
Because it pushed them and flew them that way.
Y'all see what I got to deal with?
Mm-hmm.
Please, somebody make sense of this for me. But anyway, that's the Hollywood part of it. Because most people know if a Range Rover comes to a wall at your bed, it's doing damage. You're going to get injured. Because that energy is basically transferred. If anybody knows about science, it's transferred. It's like a pool ball. You hit that cue ball, and when that cue ball hit another ball or hits that rack, that energy is transferred to that rack. So there's no way you could tell me that a mattress stopped that much energy. Anyway. So that's how that saga went down. Meanwhile, meantime, in between time, Kimmy tells her little sister, oh gosh, I hit my glasses. Kimmy tells her little sister not to visit the hospital to see Jules' son because they had a little episode of little you know, and she had some feelings for this boy, but he got injured, so he ended up in the hospital. But it's Jules' son, but she don't know who Jules is or how this plays out. But Kimmy is trying to tell her to stay away from there. You don't even know this boy. But anyway, she goes to the hospital anyway. And Jules gets a hold of her. Had her all day, torturing her and everything. Not torture as in, I don't think he beat her up or anything, but it was a lot of mental torture going on. He telling her, you know, like, you better not tell nobody that this happened, because if you do, it's going to be bad for both of us, and blah, 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 so on and so forth, etc., etc. Anyway, in the end, Jules ends up letting her go back. Now, I'm just trying to think to make sure that I didn't miss anything that I'm trying to privy you to. But, like I said, if you haven't seen this series, I wish you would go and see this series. This is not a paid advertisement. This is not paid promo or nothing. I'm telling you, if you like good series or good entertainment, period, this is a series that you need to watch. And I'm not going to expose any more information at this point. I think I gave you enough that if this is your type of series, you're going to go to Netflix and you're going to watch it. But I give it, out of 5 stars, we're going to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star scale. I never really give a series 5 stars because there's always room for improvement. And there was some Hollywood moments in this one. So if I had to give it a star rating, I would give it about a 4.5. It's pretty up there on my list of series that I like to watch. You know what I mean? And it's really good. The production of it is good. The placement of the plot is really good. And it has a lot of unexpected twists, which is good. That's what you want. You want something that's going to keep you wondering what's going on, to keep your mind into what you're watching. But if you get a chance, whenever you get a chance, I'd like you to go and watch this series. You won't regret it. Believe me. And for that, give me a like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. So I could stay in the algorithm. And if I stay in the algorithm, I could do bigger and better things. So help me to stay into the algorithm. Give me a like, comment, share, subscribe. Even if it's a bad comment. I like any type of attention. So whatever you can give me, please give me. And I hope to see you again. Enjoy your spring. Bye.
You know I love you more than I can say. And I can ever say. I hope we never ever go our separate way.
I need money. I need cash fast. Give me the bag. Give me the bag.